What if I told you that your child could be manipulated right now by a friend, a classmate, or even an adult, and they wouldn't even know it was happening?
This isn't a scare tactic. It's reality. Kids are naturally trusting. That's a beautiful thing. But without the right tools, that trust can be exploited.
And the scary part isn't the manipulation itself. The scary part is the silence around it. Most kids never learn to recognize it, which means most adults don't either. Today, we're going to change that. We're going to walk through exactly how to teach your kids to spot manipulation before it causes real damage. Because the earlier they learn this skill, the more protected they'll be for the rest of their lives. I'm your host, and this is the Parenting Blueprint, where we give you practical, science-backed tools to raise emotionally intelligent, resilient kids. If that's something you care about, make sure you're subscribed, because we're covering this topic in depth today. Let's start at the very beginning, because before we can teach our kids to recognize manipulation, we need to make sure we're actually speaking their language. Here's a simple definition you can use with your child. No psychology degree required. Manipulation is when someone tries to control what you do or feel by twisting your emotions against you. That's it. Keep it that simple. It's not about being mean. It's not about fighting or yelling. Manipulation is actually much quieter than that. It's someone using your own feelings, your love, your fear, your need to belong, to push you into doing something you don't actually want to do. It works because it's invisible. And that's exactly why we need to talk about it out loud. Here's the thing that surprises most parents. Manipulators often don't look like bad people. They might be your child's best friend, a coach, a relative, even another child who simply hasn't been taught better. So this conversation isn't about teaching your kids to be suspicious of everyone. It's about building awareness. It's about giving them a compass they can trust. A great way to introduce this concept is through storytelling. Ask your child something like this. Have you ever done something because you felt like you had to, even though it didn't feel right inside? Let them talk. Don't rush to fix it or explain it. Just listen, because that conversation alone opens the door to everything else we're about to teach them. Now let's talk about the words, because once your child understands what manipulation is in theory, the next step is helping them recognize it in real time. And it almost always starts with language. There are certain phrases that are almost always a warning sign. You've probably heard them yourself as an adult. Maybe you've even felt the sting of them. Now it's time to make sure your kids can hear them too. Phrases like, if you loved me, you would do this. Or, everyone else is doing it. Or, I thought we were friends. Or, you're being so sensitive.
These sentences have one thing in common. They shift the focus away from the action being asked and redirect it onto your child's identity, their worth, their loyalty. The message underneath is always the same. You are the problem for not complying. That's manipulation, and it works especially well on kids because children have a deep natural need to be liked, accepted, and seen as good. Manipulators know this, even when they don't know they know it. Here's a simple exercise you can try at home. Make it a game. Come up with different sentences together and ask your child, does that sound like a fair thing to say, or does it feel like pressure? You're building a muscle. You're training their instincts in a safe environment with you, so that when the real moment comes, their brain is already prepared to notice. And this matters more than ever right now, because these phrases don't just happen face-to-face anymore. They happen in texts, in group chats, in comments. The environment has changed. The tactics haven't. Now let's talk about something that's a little harder to name, but every single one of us has felt it at some point. Guilt. Guilt trips are one of the most common forms of manipulation, and they're incredibly effective because they don't feel like an attack. They feel like an invitation to be a better person. That's what makes them so dangerous, especially for children who are still learning the difference between genuine accountability and emotional pressure. Here's what a guilt trip looks like in real life. Your child doesn't want to share something, or doesn't want to go somewhere, or doesn't want to do what someone else is asking. And instead of accepting that, the other person says something like, after everything I've done for you, or I can't believe you're being this way. Or, I guess I just don't matter to you. What just happened there? The other person took your child's very reasonable boundary and turned it into evidence that your child is selfish, ungrateful, or unkind. The goal is to make your child feel so bad about themselves that they give in just to make the feeling stop. And it works because kids haven't yet developed the emotional vocabulary to say, wait, that's not fair. So our job as parents is to give them that vocabulary. Teach your child this simple question: am I doing this because I want to, or because I'm afraid of how this person will feel if I don't? That one question creates a pause. And in that pause, they have a choice. Without that pause, the guilt wins every time. It's also important to tell your kids this directly. Feeling guilty doesn't always mean you did something wrong. Sometimes other people make us feel guilty because it works for them, not because we actually made a mistake. Helping them understand that distinction is one of the most powerful things you can do for their emotional health. Now, we get to the one that I want every parent watching this to pay close attention to. Because this is the signal that most often shows up in situations that go beyond friendship drama or peer pressure. This is the one that can protect your child from something much more serious: secrets. Specifically, the kind of secrets that come with conditions. There's a healthy kind of secret: a surprise birthday party, a gift you're planning, a fun piece of news that hasn't been announced yet. Kids understand that kind of secret intuitively. It has an end date. It exists to make someone happy. It doesn't require hiding something from the people who love you. Then there's the other kind, and you need to teach your child to recognize the difference immediately. If someone ever says to your child, "Don't tell your parents about this," or "This is just between us," or "If you tell anyone, something bad will happen," that is not a secret. That is a trap. And your child needs to know in their bones that any adult or person who asks them to keep something hidden from their parents is not someone they can trust. Say it to them plainly. The people who love you will never ask you to hide things from the people who protect you. Safe people don't work in secrets. Practice this with them at home. Ask them, what's the difference between a fun secret and an unsafe secret? Let them answer. Let them think it through. Because when a real moment comes, and we hope it never does, you want that answer to already be living somewhere inside them, clear and loud. Creating that kind of open communication at home, where your child feels safe telling you anything, is not just good parenting. It is one of the most protective things you will ever do for them. We've talked about words. We've talked about guilt. We've talked about secrets. And all of those things matter. But there's one more layer. And in many ways, it's the most important one, because it doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within your child. It's their gut. Every human being is born with an internal alarm system. Scientists call it the autonomic nervous system. Kids call it a weird feeling in my stomach. And parents, that feeling is real. It is biological. It is not anxiety. It is not shyness. It is not being dramatic. It is the body's way of saying, something here is not right. The problem is that we spend years, often without meaning to, teaching our children to ignore it. We say things like, "Don't be rude, just give grandma a hug." Or, "Stop being so sensitive, he was just joking." Or, "You're fine, there's nothing to be scared of." We mean well, but what we're actually teaching them in those small moments is that their inner signal is wrong, that other people's comfort matters more than their own safety. This is one of the most important things I want you to take away from this video. Your child's body is smarter than we give it credit for. If they feel uneasy around someone, if something makes their stomach drop, if they suddenly want to leave a room and they can't explain why, that feeling deserves respect. It deserves to be taken seriously, not dismissed. Start telling your kids this explicitly. If something ever feels wrong, even if you can't find the words to explain it, even if nothing bad has happened yet, I want you to listen to that feeling, and I want you to come to me. You will never be in trouble for telling me something felt off. That last part matters more than most parents realize.
Children don't always come forward because they're afraid they won't be believed, or because they think they'll get someone in trouble, or because they're not sure if what happened was serious enough. Give them permission in advance. Tell them clearly, there is no threshold you have to cross before you can talk to me. If it felt wrong, that's enough. Now let's bring all of this together, because these 5 things we've covered today aren't separate lessons. They're one conversation that you can keep returning to as your child grows. You teach them what manipulation is, so they have a name for something that used to feel nameless. You teach them to listen for the red flags in words, so they can hear pressure even when it's dressed up as friendship. You teach them about guilt trips, so they can tell the difference between real accountability and emotional control. You teach them about unsafe secrets, so they understand that the people who love them will never ask them to hide. And you teach them to trust their gut, so they know that their own body is on their side. These are not one-time conversations, they're seeds. You plant them early, you water them often, and you watch your child grow into someone who knows their own worth, who trusts their own instincts, and who is not easy to manipulate. That's the goal, not a fearful child, a strong one.
If this video gave you something useful, share it with another parent who needs to hear it.
Leave a comment below telling me which of these 5 points hit closest to home for you. I read every single one. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time, because we have a lot more coming on raising emotionally resilient kids. Thank you for being here. This stuff matters, and so does the fact that you're showing up to learn it. I'll see you in the next one.